fuel subsidy must be removed.
Now, well, maybe the method may have differed.
Definitely the method may have failed. But what I'm saying is, those opposed to Tinubu now,
Yes.
the opposition is more on tribal lies than on the content of promises or no promises. It is about the North versus Yoruba as represented or symbolized by Bola Tinubu. Recall that no Yoruba has ever come out independent of the North to become president. If you take Tinubu, Obasanjo, who was a presidential candidate and who became president, he was actually in prison when the PDP oligarchy, which was mainly northern and which was mainly, military also, went to bring him from prison to contest election. So he was their, subject matter, and he was their candidate. The Yorubas from who he emerged, that is Obasanjo, never really supported him. So that's a different ball game. What the situation today is, Tinubu came up independently of every other person or every other tribe. But of course, he got most of his support from the North, particularly the APC, political leadership. He got most of his support from them, and they expected that he would, partially do their bidding. But
So-
as an independent-minded person, he was not going to do that.
So the grievance now is that he is not doing their bidding.
That is a perception.
Give us some insight into what this bidding may be. Is it just appointments?
Let me tell you,
Is there something more?
The most antagonistic contender against Tinubu today, I'm sure it will be difficult for people to argue with me on this, is the fact that Nasir El-Rufai, who was one of the leading advocates of Tinubu during the campaigns, was promised a ministerial appointment specifically to work on power. And unfortunately, there was a disappointment in that regard. I am told, I don't know whether it is right or wrong, but I understand that some people who were against Nasir El-Rufai, feeling that he would outperform other ministers that might in future want to contest, persuaded Tinubu and other leaders not to get him sworn in, not to get him appointed, because they fear that he would do so well that it might become difficult to control him.
If that is true, would it mean that the president favored emotional sentiments over competence?
I don't know the facts. I don't have the facts, but that is the best that I have had about why. Otherwise, I cannot imagine why he would not have been appointed a minister. Unfortunately, and I must say this, I'm a core Tinubu activist. But when the Yorubas have this adage, Akiri imi, that is Igbe, lese kapu inere. And when after the refusal of Senate to approve his appointment, people say it was some security report or whatever that was used against him. When that didn't happen, I expected our president to have found a soft landing for this, advocate of his. I mean, that is it. We have all been in Nigeria all this while, and we know the very important role that Nasir El-Rufai played. And nobody has come out to explain to even he, Nasir El-Rufai. It is only human that when such disappointment or such magnitude happens, there will be a fight back. And that is, to my mind, what is happening. I want to believe that our president, if it is not too late, should still engage Nasir El-Rufai, because there's always a God who would ask us how we have done what we have done to our fellow, particularly for those who have done good to us.
All right.
Nasir El-Rufai is not my friend. I saw him only once in the airport, only once in my life. And we don't talk. I don't have his phone number.
You didn't see him at that national convention too.
Beg your pardon?
I'm sure you must have seen him at the national convention.
I never saw him at the convention.
Okay.
I'm telling you, the only time I saw him was at the airport when he was still governor. You know, but as a human being who have seen the role he played in getting Tinubu into office, the fact that he was promised, the fact that he was nominated, the fact that everybody agrees that he is a performer in office, and the fact that he was eventually ditched. And unfortunately, we have not heard that there has since then been any discussion between him and our president. I think, you know, there's a deficiency there. And so he's the one really now mobilizing antagonism against our president. I think we left, you know, a loop, or, you know, we left a place for people who are against our president to exploit. And I believe we should try and mend it if it is not too late.